Welcome to City on a Hill Gaming, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. Let's meet our players.
Hi, I'm Grant, and I'm playing Trather Wimlin, a human fighter.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm going to be playing John Abermere, a Crimson-born human.
Peter, Bertrand Greystone, Dwarven Forge Cleric.
William R. Aarakocro Magi.
Daniel, I am playing Vatten. I am a half-elf ranger.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I am Twig, or Shem. I am a rogue bard and a Goliath.
We hope you enjoy our episode. You guys have been at the tower. You have fought the flail snail at Radden's behest to get him the different pieces he needed of the creature to build the barrier cubes to help protect the Orc City and help Bastion with something. You have a tiny pink one to give to Bastion, and the party has a somewhat larger, not significantly, but somewhat larger one to give to the Orc City.
Okay.
And as you guys are getting ready to leave, he stops you. John, I need to call in one of my favors now, actually, if I could. And he kind of just he kind of just waves the rest of the party on it and motions you inside. If you will sit, please. There's food on the table as always because it's Radden, and he knows you.
Yep.
So
John just starts casually stuffing his face.
Yes, good. Build your strength. That will be important soon. As you've probably noticed, this tower is rather large, several stories up, but I don't really ever use the upstairs. That's because about a year ago, to be honest, I made a mistake. And not proud of it, but I would like to fix it, and I borrowed Karis and Trellis to try and do so. So you're familiar with other planes, yes?
Yeah, quite, yes.
Well, yes.
Gestures to the various flecks of Crimson-bornness.
Yes,
I'm familiar with planar concepts, yes.
You probably more than any of your friends, if we're being honest.
Well,
I
wouldn't want to speak for them.
Oh yeah, I guess that's more just my knowledge than anything else. Whoops. He pauses. I was doing an experiment. Was working on a project and may have inadvertently found a cross point between two planes. That cross point apparently exists roughly in my tower. I may have accidentally blended the two planes, so now the second one just sort of exists in the tower. Upstairs.
Okay.
Mostly upstairs.
Okay.
A little outside. There's a fence outside. I fenced it in for safety. But most of it exists on the second, third, and fourth, and maybe a little on the fifth levels of the tower.
Okay.
I thought actually I had an insect problem originally. And then I realized as I looked more closely, thankfully I didn't, squish them. It wasn't insects, it was an expedition. Set out by one of the groups to explore their new home that I have inadvertently brought them to. That was about 6 months ago that the expedition made it down the stairs. It's been an unusual 6 months. The best I can tell, as I have carefully explored the upper levels, there are a variety of races and creatures and new biomes that have taken residence in the upper floors of my tower. There are also, as there are in many planes, a variety of beasts and creatures to deal with, but now I have also inadvertently created the plethora of new issues for them from all the larger things that now exist in our world that also exist in theirs by accident. I'd like to sever the two, and in an attempt to explore them more, I managed to shrink Trellis and set him forth to explore upstairs. And now I can't get him back.
I see.
I gave him a small band. He wears it on his left wrist. it allows me to track him through the tower from an aura.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I know where he is, I can bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
I found the band, brought the band back, and he is not with it anymore. So I put it back where it was.
I see.
I need you to find him.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I'll sort out the whole extra plane in my house thing later.
Mm-hmm.
And from downstairs, you hear some footsteps, and one step from downstairs, one step from upstairs. And from upstairs, you hear a voice you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
John. And Karis peeks her head down the stairs. You're here too. Good. Good. That'll help. We need to go find my brother.
Yeah, I'd say it's good to see you again, but under the circumstances, I wish they were better circumstances.
Not ideal, I suppose, but we have a new friend to go with us, and from downstairs, a large, bluish in scale tone dragonborn steps up.
Oh,
Hello. My name is Rem.
hello. Sorry, what was that name again?
Rem. It's W-R-E-M.
R-E-M?
Yeah.
W-R-E.
It's a pleasure to meet you, John.
R-E. Good to meet you too.
So what you have in front of you, so obviously you've met Karis before. She's an elven ranger. Her twin brother, sorry, this is Karis. Her twin brother Trellis is the one who is somewhere upstairs. It's like bad hide and go seek, but like with Lego people. And then you have before you a rather large, probably over 7 feet tall, pretty solidly built, blue-toned dragonborn. Pretty heavy armor, large greatsword.
Okay.
Well, this will be interesting, I suppose. Radin, where are we going? Radin walks over to the table, picks up a small box, opens it, and tosses each of you a band. It kind of fits around your wrist.
Okay.
These will allow me to track you as you explore upstairs. Not that far, but much further than I expected, it seems. I recommend you start upstairs, and maybe at the top of the stairs, and then put the bands on. And from that point, I will shrink you. The band will shrink you. And I believe if you head inland from the top of the stairs, through the forest towards the closest river you will find where I believe Trellis last was, and at least where his band last was. And if
Inland,
so once you get to the top of the stairs, you'll see a giant puddle in the middle of the room. That is apparently
Okay.
some kind of large sea on this other plane.
Okay.
And there is a large forest, or as I call it, a houseplant, that subsists nearby. But I believe somewhere near that, near the closest coast of the sea you will come to from the top of the stairs. This sounds ridiculous, and I love it. You will find that band. Yours should roughly attract you to his. And as you look at the band, you kind of get sort of an Arcana-based feel for it. It definitely does give off an aura, and it's an aura you feel like you can probably track.
Okay.
Just kind of occasionally, your band gives off a kind of focus that you can kind of keep up with.
Okay.
If you have any questions before you go, now would be a good time. I try not to go upstairs as much as possible, as it is dangerous for everyone else.
I guess this is one of those things that I'll have to see to fully understand. So
I
as it
suppose.
is, I have no questions.
Very well then. I will tell you, you will run into a variety of creatures you are familiar with. They seem to have a lot of races I would consider similar to the ones on our plane. I do not think they necessarily respond to others the way you would traditionally expect them to here, but there's potential there. Though I would like to just send them home, if if at all possible. I'm sure they would appreciate that.
Okay.
A mouse got
Well,
in last
it's-
week and wreaked havoc on one tribe. There was a war. Well, a war with them and a mouse, but
Mhm.
I think that's what happened at least. It was kind of confusing. Very small scale. And so
Yes.
Karis is like,
Heading on up.
if you have questions, I'll explain. I've already seen a lot of this. We're good. So you guys get to the top of the stairs, and you notice as you look around, so it looks like a typical Magi's tower. There's tables, there's books all over the place, there's vials everywhere. But you see a lot of other things you wouldn't necessarily expect to still be lying around. Like there's huge mounds of dirt places there weren't before. There's a huge, like 3 by 4 foot in size puddle in the middle of the second floor. There's all these things that would, in theory, look like jungles and small cities that you can kind of roughly make out as you look across what is not a particularly, but is still decent sized in circumference room. And you notice there's sort of, as you put your hand out, when you get to the top of the stairs, there's sort of a barrier. And Karis, Rad, you should, yes, that. Yes, of course. I have put a barrier at the top of the stairs of each floor, so as certain intrusions do not make their way through into the rest of that plane. But with the bands on, you should be able to pass through it.
Okay.
So, Vrim kind of steps past everybody. Right. Well then, let's go. He slips the band on his hand, and he puts his hand on the barrier, and as he kind of steps through the barrier, he shrinks to the point you don't see him anymore.
Okay.
But you're fairly certain you're detecting that aura. He's very close to it in front of you.
Okay.
Karis does the same thing.
I'll do the same so that I can not step on them.
Okay, good. And as you do, you hear Ren behind you. Careful, John. And you, presumably, as far as you can tell, shrink.
Okay.
And appear, you kind of go from standing on these giant stone stairs to now you're kind of somehow on the edge of a forest.
Okay.
And Karis and Vrim are basically standing right next to you. And you see what you expect to see in a forest. You see trees, you see grass, you see plants growing, you see wildlife running around. But then when you look up in the sky, there's giant windows. And all those things that you saw strewn across that you would normally expect to see in Ratton's Tower are still there, but they're gigantic.
Okay.
So
So I'm on the edge of the forest. Is the ground stone, or is it more like grass? Like, is
it's
this
more like grass.
sort of like a mild plain hop? Sorry, what was that?
It's a very mild plain hop. It's more like grass. You think if you dug down even just a few feet at this scale, you'd probably hit stone. Just actually pure smooth tower stone. But at least on this level, there's grass and there's flowing water in the distance. And
flowing, okay.
Things seem to be growing.
Okay.
And in front of you, as you guys kind of get to the edge of the forest, make me a perception check.
5! I got a 5!
Okay. So as you're looking around, you're kind of taken in by this whole thing. Because it's very complex looking. There are, normal-sized, deer-like creatures. And trees, and a river, and monstrous bookshelves. And, dust bunnies the size of a small town. That kind of thing. It's very confusing, and it kind of sends you into a not shock, but definitely a state of confusion temporarily. And when you kind of
like
right
weird,
yourself,
uncanny valley kind of thing.
very similar. And as you kind of come to your senses, Karis taps you on the shoulder, and in front of you stand 4 elves. At least to you, they're elves. And Vrim has kind of taken up position in front of the two of you. Oi. Not my favorite. Wasn't expecting
Hello,
visitors
fellow
immediately.
travelers.
They look you over, and one of them steps forward, looks kind of confused. The giant ones. Remorcom, interesting. Your companion was here already.
Do you happen to know where he went?
Fortunately for him, he was taken.
Fortunately.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, unfortunately.
That may have been
Sorry,
just me
my
being too
apologies.
quiet. Sorry. The Tepriv have him. I assume they
Could
went.
you spell that, please?
Tepriv.
T-R-I-V.
Uh,
Tepriv.
Karis taps you on the shoulder. Bird people. We're pretty sure those are the
Okay.
bird people. So the elf steps forward. Well, you don't immediately brandish weapons at us, so that is good. Why are you here? Have you come for him?
If by him you mean our friend from our plane, yes.
Plain. So you know. Good. Very
Yes,
good.
we've been well informed.
Can you fix it?
Not as of yet, although one of our compatriots is working on a solution, and he's an intelligent sort. I expect it shouldn't be too terribly long, assuming that time works the same here as it does where we're originally from.
It is not, but it is close. You are talking of the older giant one, yes?
Yes.
We have seen him before. Well, this has been most interesting.
Okay.
This is... Where is this in your world?
What floor are we on of the tower?
Level 2.
Level 2. Okay. We're on the second floor of a not terribly tall tower in a lightly forested area. The tower is owned by Radin owns the tower and is thaumatologist of sorts.
Interesting. Well, as long as he's trying to fix it, I suppose that is good enough. This is most unusual for us. I mean, our world comes with its own peril, but yours has added some new excitement and intrigue, I suppose.
Has it? I hesitate to ask. Has it added anything that what we would term crimson?
He looks you over and he looks at you. Oh, like your arm. No, that is not something I have seen before.
And that's a relief. This is not the first time that our world has crossed with another.
Most interesting. That is... Very. Well, if you seek the boy, he was taken by the Tepriv, I believe, back to their village. They took him near the river. One of the
Very
ones
well.
standing next
Thank
to
you
him points at the thing on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his...
Like the flex?
The band. The band Radin gave
Oh,
you.
the band. The band. Mm-hmm.
He lost his. Fell off when they took him. Was by the river, but last we saw, the Krontar took it.
The Krontar. Krontar.
Crantaur.
Antur. Krontor. Okay.
They like...
Could you describe them for me, please?
They like shiny things. Large amphibious creature. Giant claws. Grass on its back. As he describes this, it sounds like something you're familiar with. They live
like a frog?
Not exactly. Amphibious is maybe the wrong word.
Okay.
Shellfish is probably
Okay.
more accurate. There's a creature that's
Okay.
common in the forest around Radden's Tower. It's called a forest crab. It is possible.
Okay.
So they're, average size crab, but they kind of draw the line in between living in the water and living in the forest, kind of like I guess similar to like a frog or a turtle.
Okay.
So they
And
are,
they like shiny things.
and they like shiny things.
Okay.
Except if one came in from outside, it would be the same size it was outside before
Okay.
passing through the barrier. Because if it came in before the barrier existed, it wouldn't
Mm.
have shrunk, so it would be giant.
Yeah.
And they point towards the river, which you can see was the kind of giant puddle in the middle of the room. But it is moving, and you're not really sure why. Why the water moves when you're normal size, it just looks like a big puddle.
Yeah. Interplanar stuff is weird.
He points through the trees, and you do see the water in the distance. And in the distance, you also see a presumably Krantar, giant forest crab,
Uh-huh.
just kind of
Okay.
poking around, and he's kind of digging in the sand at the edge of the water. And he's probably, something, the size of a small ball in your world is now the size of a large truck.
Okay.
Here. Vrim looks a little confused. That's just
Mhm.
a forest crab.
Well, it's not just that anymore.
So it
It's,
seems. If I'm not careful, I'm going to make seafood puns. And that just lets Daniel be happy, so we're going to move on.
If it's any consolation, I, Jenny, have a mild fear of crabs and try not to think about them very hard.
I
So
did not
there will
realize
be
that.
no puns from me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Back to Merfolk next time.
When you're 2 years old, and you're in a grocery store and a live crab just kind of jumps out of a basket at you,
Oh no.
it kind of messes with you.
That's
yeah.
that's like me in thunderstorms. When I was 3, I think 3 or 4, lightning hit the house, and sparks jumped out of the TV. Like, I don't know how close I was. I was a couple feet away, but they jumped a couple feet out of the
That's
TV,
good.
like at me, and hit me.
Yeah.
But still freaked me out.
Yeah.
That was not fun. So in the distance, big, totally crabgrass thing. Crabgrass. That's an actual thing.
Crab thing.
Crab thing.
Yeah.
I forgot crabgrass is a real thing.
Forest crab thing.
Yes, forest crab.
It is a real thing.
I forgot about that. Crabgrass. There you go. There's a reference. All right. Vrim is, and as you look in the distance, you do see in one of its claws the band.
Mhm. Oh. Okay.
And it's sort of digging with the
John
other
has
claw.
no fear of crabs. John has no fear of crabs, and John will go sprinting.
Tally ho. So you guys set forth.
Yeah.
And it looks up and sees you. And just kind of, you see its eyes kind of move back and forth, kind of like sizing you up. And then it looks at Vrim. Vrim's armor's kind of shiny, but Vrim also has a band on his hand, and it's very shiny, and the crab looks very excited now. Click, 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 click.
Shiny things.
Uh-oh.
John.
I know that voice. Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
has this thingy.
Okay.
Now here's the okay. I don't have to do fancy stuff. I can just do minor illusion. John's gonna put over here. I think that's within the range.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Basically just like a pile of shiny shells and rocks and metal things, like bigger and shinier and stuff like that. Minor illusion, so that's a cantrip.
Okay. What is the save? Let's go look at the thing.
You only, I think, if I'm reading this right, okay, illusion also ends if I dismiss it. If a creature uses its action to examine the sound or image, the creature can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence or investigation check.
And it has
versus
what
my
you create has no
stealthy DC.
physical. Because so if it tries to pick it
Yeah,
up, he'll realize it's an illusion.
I think it would be ridiculous for a crab, even if it is not a smart crab, to still think that it's real, even if its claws pass through it.
Sure.
Like, I think it's
absolutely.
gonna figure something out if
Okay.
it does touch it.
Okay, so basically you create this giant pile of shiny things. And
Yes.
the
Like, I'm trying to get it to like lose interest in its small shiny that it currently has and to go for the big shinies, perhaps dropping the small shiny so we can just pick it up and run away.
because it has more room in its claws for all the other small shinies. I like it.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sees the big pile of shiny things and it looks down at the one it has, looks up at the others, down, and then it just kind of
Mm.
it's dug the little hole with its other claw. It drops the
Mhm.
band in the hole, covers the band over with the sand, and then begins shuffling over towards the pile of other things.
Okay.
But
John
before,
is going to. Okay.
he doesn't try to pick any of them up. He just kind of starts dancing out of what
Oh,
you
he's so
assume to
happy.
be forest crab excitement.
Okay.
However
This is
that
very
translates.
pleasing. Okay.
So
So yeah, John is gonna
band's
run
right
over
here.
to the pile of Ben's right over there. John's gonna run over to the pile of dirt and start digging.
Okay.
I'm guessing that it's sort of like helped with the aura thing,
Yes, you know exactly where it is
like
in the sand.
figuring out where it is. Okay.
About the
Okay.
time you get to the pile and you basically move, because it's not that much dirt or sand, like it's
Yeah.
maybe like a foot, and you can kind of just stick your hand in and just like move it around. You find the band, you pull the
Okay.
band out, you look up, and the Krantar has kind of reached out with one claw towards the pile of gold, and nothing happened. And it reaches out with the other claw, and nothing happens. This repeats for several crab claw clacking sounds, and is getting nowhere. Cracking. That's not how I meant
Very
that,
hard.
but it basically is just like snapping at it, and nothing's happening. And
Okay.
it looks confused
John is
and
now
frustrated.
back up closer to friends.
So the illusion fades, because it has now
Okay.
realized there's nothing there. But
Okay.
as it looks up back at you, and it now sees no giant shiny pile of things in front of you, or in front of it, and now 4 shiny things with you, you now have his complete and undivided attention. But from behind him, from behind the crab, you see several creatures pop their heads up out of the water.
Oh.
And begin.
How big? What size?
Yours.
Okay.
Just normal, medium-sized humanoid creatures, and kind of pop up and start throwing tridents at the Krantar.
Oh!
At the Krantar, not at you. And
Okay.
the Krantar
Well, still.
looks
Yeah.
confused because now 0 shinies, and also tridents being thrown at him.
Mm-hmm.
He scuttles on into the water and disappears under the water. And at the edge, you see several creatures kind of floating. They have kind of obviously an aquatic look to them because they came from under the water. They look like they typically live under the water or near the water. They would be what you would assume to be merfolk.
Okay.
And there are 3 of them. They are green-ish.
Okay.
And one of them kind of floats to the edge of the water. Hello. You are the giant ones,
Hello,
yes?
thank you for your help. Usually, yes.
You are welcome. We are Pleran.
Could you please spell that?
Pleran.
And
We live in these waters.
okay.
The Great Krantar is something we often run into. Easily distracted creature.
Very much so.
Why are you here?
In our world, they're sort of cute.
He mulls the word over. Interesting. That is not how we perceive them, but I believe we have analogous creatures to yours. You are from the other plane, yes?
Yes.
You come in search of the one who came several days ago.
Yes, we do.
That's something Radden didn't mention, but Karis did tell you as you guys were kind of walking. Trellis has been gone for 3 days.
3 days. Okay.
That he's kind of been stuck tiny, so to speak.
Mm.
He was taken by the winged ones.
Yes, we did hear about that. Where do they normally
Northeast of here.
live? Nest? Northeast. Okay.
Near the great... He kind of points in the direction,
Great.
sort of the staircase, but also sort of a bookshelf near the staircase. That you can kind of see in the
Okay.
distance.
Okay.
There is a mountain there. It is often where at least some of the Tepriv make their home. There's a village at the bottom. It is called Vertical.
Is the village friendly or is it Tepriv?
It is Tepriv. They are not overtly hostile normally. I think, much like the rest of us, we simply seek answers.
I understand.
This is, shall we say, not an intended visit for us. Nor, I imagine, the
Yes,
owner of this building.
Correct. As I've mentioned to some other folk just previously, he is actively working on a solution.
I imagine you mean the Athtaran. I believe you would call them elves.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, we will let you be on your way then. Safe travels. And the three of them
And you
kind
as
of
well.
sink back down into the river. And you see them come ashore. On the other side of the river, there's kind of a large island.
Mhm.
And there's sort of, you see people gathering on the side of the water. And it looks like maybe they, spend some of their time up there. But you can actually see, as you look out into the water, quite a distance down, there are buildings.
Okay.
Under the water in the distance. And so you guys are kind of, you can tell it's kind of getting later in the day.
Mhm.
Relative to where the sun is coming through the windows.
Okay.
And Karis speaks up. I think it would be wise if we kept moving. This is...
I agree.
Not what I would call dangerous, but not what I would call safe either. Make me... And I'll have them do it too. Make me perception checks.
20!
That's not good.
Not a natural 20 for me, but yeah, an 8 is less good than a 20.
And a 9 is not much better than that 8. So we will go with your 8.
Yeah.
In the distance, you see sort of what you think he was talking about. You see kind of a large area where it kind of just turns to dirt. And then past that, stone, but not stone that's the same color as the tower. Stone that's like a deep, dark brown. And then it kind of runs right up to the bookcase. And you see watchtowers. And high platforms sticking off of the bookcase. This is probably several hundred yards away. You can kind of just see this on the edge of your vision.
Mm-hmm.
And you do see some movement in the sky.
Okay.
Vrim kind of looks at you. What is your suggestion then?
I say we head towards the town of Vertical.
So be it. We will see if we run into anything new there. Most interesting place this is. Interesting. I must tell Radden to stop experimenting. Seems to have gone differently than he expected. So you guys walk for a few minutes. You get in range, and as you do get a better vision, and this looks like a settlement, looks like a city. Like I said, it has the watchtowers, set up on the bookshelf. You can sort of see small houses and huts, and it looks like everything looks like it shouldn't be there because it's sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
But it sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
You imagine like this is what it would be set up like on their plane, just on the side of a cliff, not the fourth bookshelf on the right, where Rad keeps all of his, gaming manuals and, you know, his
Comic
DM,
books.
his DM screen and his comic books, right?
Yeah.
Something Archie Comics, something Spider-Man. I don't know.
He does do interplanar experiments, so like
really complicated
legit.
ones apparently.
Yeah.
Really,
He's
really
just got to get that new volume of Hawkeye.
Yeah. And this sweet SNES collection. You're not sure what SNES stands for, but it looks cool. Something Super Mario 3, I think?
What?
I don't know. It's fine. I don't remember which one's on SNES, to be honest. RPG? Maybe it's RPG.
SNES is Super Mario World.
Okay, yeah. What have I done? Okay. So as you approach, you do see some... I'm not going to say they're similar to Aarakocra, but you do see some avian creatures. And they have taken notice of you guys. And you do see in the distance Trellis. Unarmed, but also he seems to be okay. It looks like they're asking him questions. He just kind of looks frustrated because, you know, this wasn't his idea.
Yeah.
He's not really sure what's happening. And as you approach, one of them breaks from the group and stay where you are. What do you want?
We want to take our friend back.
More giant ones. We want answers.
If you ask us questions, we might have answers for you.
Why are we in this building now?
Because our friend Radin is a thaumatologist, and he did an experiment and ended up crossing and melding our planes together. It was an accident. He's working on a solution.
He will fix it.
Yes.
We do not belong here with your bookshelves and your staircases. This one is of no help. Trella speaks after the mic. I've been trying to tell you that for 2 days now. But and one of them just kind of like, shh, stop it. From a distance, you feel like you're being watched, and not just by sort of the other creatures who live in the village. In the distance, just before the bookshelf, you actually see more water. It looks like obviously it's not it's not nearly as big as the other one. It's maybe like a small, they got like a large stream or like a very small river. Kind of appears to run through this area. It's probably where they get their water. And at the very edge of it, you see a creature standing who appears to be watching you. He looks similar to...
How big?
Still technically medium. He's very much pushing the boundaries of medium. But so is Vrem, so... He appears to be Plaren, like the other sea creatures were. Aquatic in nature, but where many of them were sort of green or greenish blue, he's more of like, the color's like faded. And he's much bigger. And he's kind of standing on the edge of the water, just very intently staring at you.
I'll ask one of the Tepriv. Do you know this individual? And I'll point at the dude.
He is Plaren, but he is no longer a part of their tribe. His name is Malectus.
Did he cause trouble?
Some. Before we ended up here. I believe he was attempting to take control of their tribe. Our journey, shall we call it,
I see,
has somewhat thwarted his plans inadvertently. I believe Yahweh's blessings do not always be obvious, but clearly it has made a difference in making sure the Plaren are where they are now. I believe him to have been trouble.
If we were to re-separate the planes again, would he be able to continue his plans?
He would certainly start over, I think. He comes and goes. We do not stop him, but we do not let him stay here either. He searches for whatever he can find of use to him here, though I believe he has found nothing so far. The Claren has begun pacing back and forth at the edge, and you see in one hand, or actually in both hands, you see large daggers. Like what you would like. These are so like, let's say like Shim. So Shim's got his rapier that's part of his cane, but Shim also carries daggers. And Shim's pretty good sized guy. These daggers would be too big for Shim.
Yeah. Oh.
And he kind of hefts one, and he launches it at Vrym. And Vrym just kind of knocks it away with his shield. I do not take kindly to that one. He is trouble.
Nor do I. I agree. Shall we fight him, or shall we...
Malectus almost seems kind of amused that Vrym's kind of so easily just kind of knocked the dagger to the side. And he now has two in his hand again. Like one in each hand.
Oh, where did the knocked away one go?
It's next to Vrym's feet.
Okay. Just want to make sure it wasn't like one of those, like, there's an enchantment you can put on.
Oh, yeah. Like the returning thing.
That, like, boomerangs them.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You are fairly certain, just because you can kind of, as Crimsonborn, you just kind of have a sense of these things. It does have an aura to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The one that's next to you guys.
What kind? What kind of aura?
Let me find a. Oh, I can never keep up with those. Let's go with evocation.
Okay.
And Vrym kind of reaches down to pick it up, and it shocks it.
Oh.
Interesting. Very.
Can I try to pick it up?
If you want to, make me a. Let's go. Ooh, I'm trying to think of which. Make me a con save.
24, because that's a natural 20.
That's weird. You have a really high modifier for that. That's nice.
I do, because it's a proficiency.
Oh, right. Okay. You think it would have shocked you, and you feel like the charge happens, but you don't feel anything. Like it doesn't actually hurt you. And it seems to every couple of seconds. And you notice, like, when you examine the one you're holding and the one he's holding, the ones he's holding don't pulse. This one pulses every couple of seconds.
Okay. So it's sort of like a security kind of thing, like, hey, don't touch my stuff?
Or maybe just like an outside of his connection to him thing, maybe. It keeps continuously pulsing with that shocking, almost like shocking grasp.
Okay. How far can you throw a dagger?
I think that's 30-60. Or I guess, sorry, 60. I think that's 60-30. It's either 60-30 or just 30, but I will look.
Okay.
So 20 would get you to where, like, you could easily throw it to where the avian creatures are, but you probably couldn't throw it at all to where he is.
Okay.
Trellis could. Because Trellis is probably the closest of anyone to him. But you couldn't.
Okay.
From where you are now. Okay, so yeah, if you move 30, you'll be like next to John, and then yeah, you could throw it back at him if you wanted to.
6. I want to do that.
Do it.
That's 15.
Misses.
Okay.
But you very much catch him off guard. Because not only did you throw it back at him, but you were able to carry it a distance, and that doesn't make any sense to him. Let's do initiative.
Okay.
But the avian... So you see the avian creatures... I'm not gonna stop you. Be careful. And they kind of pull Trellis to the side. And you kind of see the others up on the shelves and in the towers back out and take cover.
Hmm.
Okay, so Karis will move up there, and she will take a shot at Mr. Electric Dart throwing not nice man. I forgot the name of the name I made for the race. So
Plaren.
I shouldn't be.
Malectus Plaren.
She draws back her bow because she doesn't appreciate anyone throwing anything at her friends, particularly not this close to her brother. And she will. Okay. She pulls back her bow, launches an arrow, and it hits him square in the chest. And he looks very surprised and very confused. And then we will now say it is Vrim's turn. Vrim moves up, but he's kind of out of range. And he will actually... He kind of reaches out and touches you on the shoulder. And he casts Bless.
Oh, bless.
And it is John's turn.
Okay.
He does it for you. You have it, and Karis has it.
Okay. Bless is 1d4
on, it looks like, attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay, so beg pardon. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do Chromatic Orb.
Okay.
I'm gonna do part of me doesn't want to do crimson damage just in case it does sort of like infect this plane. I don't want to mess with that.
Okay,
so
sure.
I'm gonna go with acid for the damage.
Okay.
And so I make a ranged spell attack. I'm gonna do
natural
that.
One.
Yeah, that's an at one.
Oh,
you know what? Do I have to do the D4 or can I save it?
You can say. I think you can save it.
I'd like to save it because, like, no
can
way.
Roll. It doesn't say have to.
Okay, I'm gonna not do that then because I don't think it's gonna matter. I don't think his armor class is 11, so like even if I do get a natural 4, it's not gonna make a difference.
You launch the orb at him, and he, with even more deftness than you necessarily expect, kind of just shifts out of the way back towards the water. And he reaches out and grabs hold of one of the daggers, and you see his hand almost glows a little, like there's a little energy that comes out of him and into the dagger, and he launches it at Karis.
Oh.
And that's a 24.
She's rolling high. Like, it doesn't matter if it's me or if it's you. She's just rolling high
She
today.
did that last time. She did that last time you played with Karis. Okay, she needs to make...
I remember that, yeah.
She needs to make a dex save. But thankfully, she has a pretty high dex. Okay, she does not make her dex save. So he hits her with the dagger, and she takes... and she looks unhappy, but okay. That was almost half her hit points. Okay. Hefty bunch. It is her turn, and she, as I said, not happy. So she pulls back another arrow and launches another arrow. I was really hoping for another natural 20 there. That would have been really satisfying and kind of funny. But she does hit him.
Is not bad.
Yes, absolutely. She does hit him. And that will do D8 plus 5 for 6.
Oh.
Not the ideal D8, but that's okay.
No.
Vrim's turn. Vrim is much closer now. That makes Vrim very happy. Vrim just kind of charges forward and hauls back his greatsword. Because he, much like Karis, does not appreciate watching his friends get hit. Wrong one. Where is the thing? And he almost roars as he does it. Like, he seems... angry is the wrong word, but he's decidedly not happy. And that's, he takes a swing, and he, I think, kind of gets maybe a little overly aggressive, and it kind of just goes straight over Malecta's head as he kind of dodges out of the way. John's turn.
All right, I'm gonna try that chromatic orb again.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, I've only got I need to, like, make a chromatic orb. Another natural one! Woo!
Is that even... Like, I'm almost thinking something's wrong.
I can roll 100 d20 to reset the random number generator.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. I basically get... I'm gonna make a total mess, but...
Huh. Oh.
There we go. It has to be on my account because it's account linked.
Oh, no, but I just wanted to do it out of pure curiosity. You rolled, like, 8 more ones.
Yes, I did. Anyway, it should be fine now.
That is mathematically unlikely.
Yep, it
Wait,
should be fine
how
now.
How many 20s did you roll? Only 2.
2.
That's really interesting. Okay, just roll
Yeah.
1 for me, because now I'm just curious.
Just like slash R1d20.
No, just make your attack again.
Okay.
Because that, like, low-key... And that's a 3. Okay, so you do
3.
miss. That
I
was
really
just... That was pure frustration on my point, but we're going to go with it.
Okay.
It is now his turn. And he will take a stab at Vrem. That is a 22. That does hit. And Vrem will try and make a dexterity save, though as a paladin in full plate, that's going to be questionable. That's a 2. So he manages to kind of roll as Vrem rolls, and he sticks him good, and boop. 3d6 plus some. Okay, he takes some damage. That's not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. And it is Karis' turn, and she's fed up with this tomfoolery. And a 19.
That's very good. That's really very good.
She is absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. And he will take a bunch more damage from her longbow, because she ain't pleased right now.
Mm-hmm.
His tomfoolery and or nonsense. Vrem tries to hit him with his longsword. He connects. Because again, tomfoolery and nonsense, and he's not pleased. And takes a hefty chunk out, and is now John's turn.
Okay. I'm gonna hit him in the back of the head. With my quarterstaff.
Are you trying
because apparently
to...
my spells keep fizzling.
Are you trying to, like, knock him unconscious, or...
No, I'm just trying to hit him in the back of the head with my quarterstaff.
Okay, do the thing. That's a miss. I do like that it says
Okay.
whack when it rolls it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because you can add text to like in the description portion of the attack section. So.
He does not appreciate that, and he kind of sidesteps you, swipes under, and takes a swipe at you, but he misses.
Okay.
With his dagger, and Karis, and you've never heard her do this before, Karis yells, "Enough! This is enough. This is not our fault. This is not your fault. This is not Radden's. It's sort of Radden's. It's not even really his fault. You need to stop." And she takes aim, but you think she aims more to disable him than anything else?
Mm-hmm.
And she takes another shot with her bow, but it kind of takes him off of his feet and just drops him. And Vrem just kind of puts a hand on his chest and holds him down. You hurt the girl. We're done. Giant one ruins everything. I was so close. I was gonna take the boys' band and get big and go. Ruins everything. And he struggles, but eventually he just kind of lets go.
Okay. Would it be such a bad idea to take him out of this plane and into our own?
To, in theory, prevent him from doing other things eventually?
Yes!
Okay.
Or do they have a justice system here? Because I'd rather they handle it if they do have a justice system, but I don't know that for sure.
This plane seems, in general, a little more... like maybe a step or two behind yours in terms of advancement.
Okay.
like you're not sure really what would happen to him. Like sort of like the Tepriv did nothing to stop him, but they did nothing to help him. The
Yeah.
Plaren kicked him out of their area, but no one's really done anything to like genuinely prevent him from acting. He just kind of
Okay.
seems to be on his own, and maybe he wouldn't be safe here. Or maybe it wouldn't be safe here with him. Eventually.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. I'm sure Radden could point you in the direction of someone to deal with that problem, in theory.
Yeah.
Vrim kind of... So, I'm just going to assume you mull this out loud.
Yeah.
And Vrim just kind of looks at you. Interesting. I know someone who would take him.
You do.
I do.
My concern with this idea is that it could potentially create planar ripples. Just
Interesting.
affect. I don't want to disturb the planes any more than they've already been disturbed.
No.
And I don't know if taking him out would
It is
make
possible.
it harder.
It might be better for him to remain here. But he is a problem.
He is. And he seems rather, not precisely impotent here, but his plans have certainly been foiled, and until the planes have been sorted out, I doubt he can continue with his plans. I will certainly be alerting Radin to the situation.
Yes,
and seeking his counsel there.
I suggest we leave him with his people, and perhaps we can come back for him later, if Radin deems it safe. I know someone who will take him in custody if necessary.
I see.
I'm sure you've met her. She finds her way around.
Ah, I believe I may well have met her.
She, goes where Yahweh sends her. And I do not think he would be opposed to helping in a situation like this. We will take him back to his people for now. And you seem to get no argument out of the Tepriv.
Yeah.
And Trellis kind of is let walk back over towards you guys. Well, interesting. Couple of days, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. I give him his armband back.
Thank you. I apparently cannot leave without it.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it as always, John. If we leave now, I believe we can drop our new friend off and still return to the staircase by nightfall.
Seems about right.
So you guys make your way back to the original river you found, and your player and friends kind of come up from the surface and look rather confused by what Malectus is doing there. Interesting.
I'm currently experiencing a cat. Hang on a second.
Okay. That's another t-shirt idea.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing a cat. So the one who talked to you earlier looks at you. Why have you brought him here?
We were hoping you could take him into your custody.
I suppose. Two of them kind of get out of the water, walk ashore. And you see one of them kind of meditate on something for a second and kind of produces a pair of shackles. Similar to what I think Peter talked about it several sessions ago. Clerics can kind of do. I don't know if it's a dwarf thing or a cleric thing. We're going to pretend it's a cleric thing so that this guy can do it. It's not a dwarf thing because that wouldn't make any sense.
I think it's a cleric thing to do with a specific class ability if you go with a certain subclass.
It's the yeah. It's like the smithing.
Yeah, smithy.
Yes, that one. So he produces a set of manacles. Manacles Malectus, and they lead him back into the water. Mm-hmm. And he turns and looks at you. The player you talked with earlier. We would prefer if you do not leave him here for long.
We do not intend to.
Excellent.
We have yet to formalize any plans. However, we believe that we would have purposes for him on our plane.
So be it. If it causes no further issues, we will release him back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. May your journey home be quick. And they head back into the water, and Malectus is just kind of mumbling the whole time. And as soon as he gets to the water, so you guys have kind of been... You took his daggers from him.
Yeah.
And he had several more on him. Once he's back in the water, they stop constantly shocking. And they're just kind of like, you can tell there's still an aura to them, but they don't do anything now. So you just have like a collection of like 6 daggers. They're just way too oversized for you. But it's fine. That won't bite me later, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think honestly, kind of want to keep him for Shim.
Okay,
like,
that's fine.
Yeah, I think that'd be nice.
We'll see if he can make use of them. It's Shim. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys head back to the staircase, and as you pass through the barrier, you are full size again.
Okay.
Trellis looks very happy. Where's the food? And Radden meets you at the stairs. Well, very good. Thank you. Again, this is obviously not something I planned on, but hopefully I can fix it soon.
Yes. I sort of give him the rundown on Malectus.
Okay. And as you
and all that.
So you guys sit down, you eat, you talk about stuff, and as you get up to go, he thanks you again, gives you 100 gold, and as you step out, you hear Vrim look at him and say, "I'll contact Aurora in the morning. Hopefully she will come and take the merfolk boy." And Radden nods at him, turns and smiles at you, and closes the door. And that's the first time you've heard a name for her.
Aurora. Okay.
Okay. So we will stop there.
All right.
Ginny, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hi.
For the one shot.
We are back from City on the Hill Gaming. This is another one of our side quests, a little adventure for Ginny and her character, John Abermere, Crimson-born human, and just kind of a little exploration of something different that I've kind of been working on. So if you want more of our content, cityonthehillgaming.com, or wherever you get your podcasts, and at City on the Hill Game on Twitter, or cityonthehillgaming@gmail.com. Ginny, tell us all the Saving the Game things.
Okay, so I'm one of the co-hosts of Saving the Game, a Christian podcast about tabletop role-playing games such as this one. We actually just finished up our 10 Commandments series, where we examined the 10 Commandments in relation to the gaming table. And we're about to get started on sort of a very, I don't know if it's even going to be 2 episodes. There's going to be a Halloween episode coming up. I'm really excited. Oh yes, because here's the thing, I suggested it, and I like the topic.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and so that may or may not be multiple episodes, and the next series we're going to be working on is on the alignment system in D&D.
Ooh, you're actually doing it.
We are actually doing that.
I'm excited.
After the Halloween episode. We are doing that.
Interesting.
Yes.
And it's almost time, I believe, because I think I saw either on Twitter or Facebook, it's almost time for Mike Perna's every 33 episodes visit.
Yes, it's very, very close.
Which always makes me happy. I believe that's not too far from now.
I can't do math well.
Is it 166?
No, it's 165.
Is it 165? Okay, I know it's somewhere in there. So go check them out, stgcast.org.
Multiples of 11s are weird. So yes, stgcast.org, Saving the Game on Twitter, on Facebook. We have our own Discord channel that you can access through our website of various games.
We even play tabletop games on the Discord channel from time to time.
Yes, that does also happen.
We have a play-by-post group and a new devotional group that just started, I believe, in the last week or two. So go check them out on Twitter, on Discord, And check out Peter's articles every other week that there's not an episode uploaded.
Yes.
stgcast.org or savingthegamepodcast.org. He said totally unsure of himself. I think that redirects
I believe you're
correctly.
right, but stgcast.org is just very simple.
It's very simple, so just use that one. Way easier. Or look it up in your favorite podcast application. We appreciate you guys listening, and hope to see you again in the future. Have a blessed day. Thanks for listening to City on the Hill Gaming. For more information, you can find us online at cityonthehillgaming.com, email us at cityonthehillgaming@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter at cityonthehillgame. For more information on Saving the Game, you can find Peter, Grant, and Jenny at stgcast.org or at Saving the Game on Twitter. Thanks, and have a blessed day.